Senator Hanga vows to push for narcotics bill as NDLEA refutes lawmakers' accusations of complicity amid debate on its operations. Bandits kill 3 travelers, abduct 2 farmers in Niger State. Bauchi businesses urge for better operating conditions. On the foreign scene, hospitals targeted as Israeli forces intensify northern Gaza operations. Good evening and welcome to the News Hour tonight on Trust TV. I am Aisha Salihu. We begin on the red chambers of the National Assembly. Senator R Hanga, the sponsor of the controversial bill calling for the establishment of a National Institute for Drug Awareness and Rehabilitation, has vowed to push the bill and ensure its final passage into law. The bill seeks to coordinate and promote drug awareness, prevent substance abuse, and facilitate the rehabilitation of drug users. Senator Hanga, who represents Kano Central in the upper chamber, decried the scourge of drug abuse prevalent in Nigeria, particularly in the north. He explained that the issue requires urgent attention due to the dangers associated with the increasing trade and consumption of narcotics. Speaking exclusively with Media Trust, the Kano lawmaker addressed concerns about insinuations that his bill, once passed, would clash with the mandate of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency. He also responded to the NDLEA's reaction to Senator Lola Ashiru's statement during the debate on the rehabilitation bill.
Arrest, interrogate, and punish or prosecute. That is the basic thing. I was the chairman of drugs, narcotics, and financial crimes in the Fifth Senate. So I know the bill very well. I know there's nothing close to awareness and rehabilitation. And we have no rehabilitation for drugs in this country. We have psychiatric hospitals. But psychiatric hospital is not rehabilitation for drugs. This one is a specialist program, rehabilitation of drugs. It's a specialist area. Even abroad, there are specialist areas, specialist institutions for rehabilitating the drug abused people. You understand? So, my predicament is during the argument on the bill, the debate on the bill, some people were against it. And amongst those that were against it were the chairman of the Committee on Drugs and his deputy. On NDLEA. Yes. They were against the bill. They spoke against the bill.
Meanwhile, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency says the recent attack on it by Senator Oyelola Yisa Ashiru, representing APC Kwara South, was born out of vendetta rather than patriotism. According to the NDLEA, the senator's house in Ilorin, Kwara State, was raided and consignment of drugs recovered. The chairman, Chief Executive Officer Buba Marua, represented by the Director, Media and Advocacy of the agency, Femi Baba Femi, also said 3 of Ashiru's aides were arrested, prosecuted and sentenced, while 1 was sent to jail in June this year. Baba Femi berated the senator for his comment that the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency is corrupt and compromised. At the Senate plenary last week, Ashiru had said NDLEA is the most corrupt and compromised government agency in Nigeria. He said this while contributing to the debate on a bill for an act to establish National Institute for Drug Awareness and Rehabilitation, claiming that NDLEA has failed in its mandate woefully, thereby giving credence to the creation of another drug-related agency. The NDLEA, however, said the senator's comments were uncomplimentary, unfounded, and defamatory.
The personal house of Senator Ashiru in GRA Ilorin, the capital of Kwara State, had been raided in recent past. by the agency, where drugs and illicit substances were recovered, while two of his aides, Ibrahim Mohammed and Mohammed Yahaya, were arrested. So, going by this backstory, it is deductible that these encounters that the agency has had with the senator must have been responsible for his outburst, and unfortunately false allegation, the type that nobody within and outside of government has ever leveled against NDLEA before. This same agency that he wrongfully got into the headline as the most corrupt government agency in Nigeria is the same agency that has been receiving accolades from local and international bodies.
In politics, the ongoing crisis within the People's Democratic Party is further fracturing its leadership and membership. Analysts say the political rivalry between FCT Minister Nyesom Wike and PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar is weakening the party's standing as Nigeria's main opposition. In this report, our correspondent Ibrahim Ismail explores the fallout of the Atiku-Wike feud and its impact on the PDP's internal unity. Take a look.
Last week, Nigeria's main opposition party, the PDP, made headlines over suspension and counter-suspension among its leaders. As the crisis deepens, FCT Minister Nyesom Wike and former presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar have reignited their media feud. Amidst this political clash, PDP members and Nigerians voice growing concerns.
I believe that Wike has his own want to be relevant. It's not because of Nigeria. Also now you want to govern Nigeria and you are putting Nigeria in fire. You are putting fire on Nigeria. Something that you know that, okay, now you want to govern me. You want to be my leader. And you don't want, you know, if you have interest, if you have the interest of me in your heart, there's no need of you fighting. Rather, you go back onto the drawing board. Where did I miss it?
At first, you know that everybody left PDP. It was only Wike that stood back. He's the only person that stood back, and he was so strong that he fought for some governors, which we all knew. So, if I may say, all these politicians, they are the same, but he's the only person. He's just recently that he stepped to a kind of going to APC.
So when a party is not one voice, they are not united in their front. There is no way there can actually be a true opposition party. So that is it. As I feel the current situation in the party is concerning.
No agreement has to come. Let us look. Why Wike's faction is coming up like this? Okay, why Atiku own is doing like this? Okay, let us harmonize and join hands together, and which is not too far-fetched from it. It's something that got settled overnight.
As the Atiku-Wike rivalry intensifies, a political analyst warns of the potential consequences for the People's Democratic Party (PDP), cautioning that the ongoing crisis could further weaken the party.
So a lot of factions are going to come up, a lot of parties that are that have not been heard of for a very long time will also come up. And like I tell you, if PDP is not careful, they will also lose a lot of people, a lot of big wigs into smaller parties that will come up in 2027. My politics is dynamic, it's funny, it's a game that you cannot predict until it is done. PDP is the party that has the entire peoples sympathizing with them now. They have the sympathy of the nation right now, feeling as if they are the Messiah that is coming in now.
Many fear that this crisis will weaken the PDP as Nigeria's leading opposition party. But as it stands, party members look forward to the upcoming meeting of the National Executive Council with the hope to address the current leadership tussle. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And to matters of security, to a sad development. At least 3 people have reportedly lost their lives on the Bangi-Kotonkoro Road in Meriga local government area of Niger State when bandits opened fire on their vehicle. According to residents, the attack happened on Sunday morning when the victims were on their way to the market. One of the locals, who preferred anonymity, said bandits blocked the road between Bangi and Kotonkoro and started shooting on moving vehicles. A survivor, Alhaji Shehu, said the driver of his vehicle, a lady and another victim identified as Alhaji Ibrahim, were killed. Locals say farmers were also kidnapped while harvesting rice on their farm. While the spokesperson of the Niger State Police Command, SP Wasiu Abiodun, is yet to react to the incident, the chairman of Mariga local government area, Abbas Musa Kasuwa Garba, confirmed the incident. He said attacks by bandits have become regular in the area due to the broader border with Zamfara, Kebbi, and Kaduna states through Birnin-Gwari axis. The Yobe State Police Command has successfully apprehended Hamsatu Modu of Morame Village, Jakana Kondoga local government area, Borno State, for trafficking ammunition from Buniyadi to Damaturu, the state capital. This was contained in a statement signed by the public relations officer of the command, DSP Dungus Abdul Karim. He said the suspect was arrested by the police operatives at A Divisional Police Headquarters, Damaturu. According to him, the police command received credible intelligence regarding a suspected gun runner en route to Damaturu. He added that the Commissioner of Police, CP Garba Ahmed, reaffirms the command's commitment to combating crime and urges community members to sustain their cooperation with security agencies. More on security matters, Minister of Defense Mohammed Badaru says the federal government is committed to restoring security for peace and harmony in the communities affected by ethno-religious conflict in Plateau State. The minister said on Sunday during a meeting with warring communities in the state. Trustees Adomusa has more.
The minister's visit comes amid the growing insecurity in Plateau State, including banditry and farmer-herder clashes that have resulted in loss of lives in recent times. The minister and the General Officer Commanding 3 Division, Nigerian Army, Major General Abdisalami Abubakar, inspected the Guard of Honor at the Maxwell Kobe Cantonment, proceeded to the military pavilion where he addressed troops of division and Operation Safe Haven. He charged them to be professional in their conduct and assured them that adequate measures have been put in place for their welfare.
I really want to acknowledge, through your efforts, the numerous reforms that you have received from the bad guys, as well as ammunition, and you have posted so many local arms producing factories. We thank you for that effort. We urge you to continue to do the same, and we urge you to end it and end it now. Are we ready to end insecurity in the plateau?
Yes, sir. The minister also engaged stakeholders in various local council areas, including Wase, Bokos, Barkiladi, Mangu and Riom, on how to find lasting solutions to the perennial insecurity in the state.
Meeting, you have seen the representative of the governor sitting. You have seen the security agencies. You have seen the local government chairman of the 5 affected local governments. You have seen all the major stakeholders, religious leaders, the Hardos, the Fulani leaders, and the Hausa leaders. Everybody is here, and we spoke frankly. And I represent the federal government. There are recommendations that are being sent to the state, recommendations that the federal government will look into.
General Officer Commanding 3 Division, Nigerian Army, Major General Abdisalami Abubakar, described the minister's visit as timely, saying the Nigerian Army has put in place measures toward handling the conflicts in the state.
Your esteemed presence here today will add personal touch and impetus to the deliberations. This meeting will also afford the Honorable Minister of Defense another unique opportunity to appraise both the kinetic and non-kinetic efforts which we have employed towards protecting the lives and property of the citizenry.
Other stakeholders said they look forward to a peaceful coexistence among ethnic groups in the state.
Well, one of the major things we noticed is just an issue of understanding. Issue of understanding, one, between all the parties involved, and then secondly, trying to get people to give or accept some concessions in order for us to have, genuine peace within the state.
The thing is turning up to give us the best of what we are looking for quite a long time. That's peace. And, we succeed by discussing on a round table, and by the discussion today, it has proven that by coming together, we will achieve the desired goal.
The minister's visit is believed by many to be a morale booster for the troops, and hopefully it will be foster peaceful coexistence in the state. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
The Nigerian Army has dismissed media reports suggesting that there is a leadership vacuum following the absence of the Chief of Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja. It also issued a warning to those calling for a military coup, describing it as a treasonable offense under the law. The clarification comes in a statement signed by the Director, Defense Information, Brigadier General Tukur Gusau, on Monday, after a viral video where some persons were calling for a military takeover surfaced online. It also clarified that there was never an appointment of an acting Chief of Army Staff to replace Taoreed Lagbaja, who it said is on annual leave. It advised media organizations to verify information with the appropriate authorities before releasing fake news to the public. The Federal Capital Territory Police Command has again assured residents of its determination to keep the FCT and its environment safe from all forms of crimes and criminalities. The command's commissioner, Olatunji Disu, gave the assurance while parading some of the suspects arrested by operatives of the anti-kidnapping unit of the command following clearance operations in the forests of Kwara in Kaduna State and Goraka Forest in Niger State. Neil Sampson has the report.
The FCT Commissioner of Police, Olatunji Disu, who briefed the media on the atrocities of the bandits and where they were arrested, listed exhibits recovered from the bandits to include 5 AK-47 rifles, 100 rounds of live 7.62 ammunitions, 10 AK-47 magazines, among others. Commissioner Disu said the suspects were responsible for various armed robbery and kidnapping attacks on Dede, Buhari, and Dawaki communities in the FCT.
At the same time, 2 operatives of the Federal Capital Territory sustained serious injuries, and both are undergoing treatment as I speak with you. These are kidnappers specialized in identifying their victims and identifying their various homes and going there to pick them while sleeping at night. Intelligence gathered revealed that this gang kept their hostages in various locations in Gidandogo Forest in Kaduna, Garaka Forest in Niger, Kwara Forest and Kashia Forest in Kaduna. The extent of the arrested individuals' involvement in crimes which have caused horror and pains to residents of the Federal Capital.
Also present at the parade were kidnapped victims who narrated their ordeal in the hands of the kidnappers.
Was waiting for the person that will bring the ransom money, but there was hitch on the way, so it couldn't reach them on time. So they shot my daughter and my cousin's sister.
Of course, I pay ransom of 1.5. On 19 August, they now come and pick my daughter again, my cousin.
Some of the suspected kidnappers spoke on the level of involvement in kidnapping.
He was arrested for kidnapping. He kidnapped people for money. They kidnapped people for money, and he made 600,000 from the act. He was introduced into kidnapping by a doctor. He is 18 years old and started the job this year, about 1 year ago. They used the money to buy clothes, eat, They carry out their kidnappings in different locations, including Gibe, Kwara, and Buari areas. Since he started, he has no reasonable amount of money. At first, they gave him 100,000, and later on, they gave him 200,000. They have over 4 AK-47. His boss has been arrested. I have been into kidnapping for less than 1 year. We kidnapped at Jere, Kadako, Kau, Buari, and Kachia. We kidnapped 30 people in Jere. He does not collect ransom. Only his Oga does, after which they gave him 30,000 naira. He supplies recharge card for kidnappers. He did the job once, and they paid him 150,000.
The commissioner used the opportunity to reassure members of the public to defeat crimes in all its forms in the FCT. Well, Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The governor of Anambra State, Charles Soludo, has extended condolences to families and neighbor community in Awka, South Local Government area over the tragic loss of life resulting from recent cult rivalries. Soludo, who visited the site of cult killings on Monday morning, vowed to bring the perpetrators to justice and combat cultism in the state. Soludo also urged the community to continue their lawful activities, assuring them that no matter where the perpetrators hide, they will be apprehended and brought to face the law. He emphasized the government's commitment to their safety and well-being. Meanwhile, the Anambra State Police Command has accused the relatives of the deceased in the court of hurriedly burying the bodies, thereby destroying evidence and obstructing the ongoing investigation. The police public relations officer, SP Tochukwu Ikenga, expressed disapproval of the actions taken by some relatives of the deceased in burying evidence, which he claimed hinders the investigation. Ikenga stated that the command remains dedicated to thoroughly investigating the cult-related killings that occurred on Sunday, which resulted in 5 deaths, with 3 individuals seriously injured and currently receiving medical treatment. In a commendable show of unity and compassion, Nigerians from all walks of life are coming together to provide support for the victims of the tragic petrol tanker explosion in Majia town of Taura local government area of Jigawa State. The incident, which claimed the lives of nearly 200 people, has drawn sympathy and aid from across the nation, transcending political, religious, and cultural boundaries. The report.
The explosion occurred on Tuesday night, devastating families in Majia town and surrounding areas, with many breadwinners among the victims. The tragedy has left an indelible mark on the community, changing the lives of the affected families forever. In response to the disaster, a wave of donations and condolences has poured in from across Nigeria. Leading the support is the chairman of the Northern Governors Forum, Governor Yaya Inwa of Gombe State, who arrived in Jigawa with a delegation of northern governors. Each northern state has pledged 50 million naira to assist the victims and their families. Joining the delegation, the CEO of the Emeka Efo Foundation from the eastern part of the country contributed 150 million naira to the relief efforts. This cross-regional solidarity reflects the deep sense of shared humanity felt throughout Nigeria.
I want to express our deepest commiseration with you and the entire people of the Gaza State over this development. And we want to extend our sympathies and pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will rest those that have died in peace. We pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you the courage and the fortitude to bear this great incredible loss, not only to you but to all of us.
Additionally, Kano State Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf visited Jigawa earlier, providing 100 million naira to aid the survivors and the families of the deceased.
We are therefore here to commiserate with you and the good people of the state. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant their respective souls ask them not to keep those. And for those that are in the hospitals receiving treatment, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them quick recovery so that they can join their families.
Meanwhile, Aliko Dangote, the CEO of the Dangote Group, announced a donation of 1 million naira to each of the nearly 200 families who lost loved ones, and 250,000 naira to those currently undergoing treatment for their injuries.
But I think this one it is also an eye-opener for us to make sure going forward we try as much as possible, like us that were in petroleum business, to enlighten people. Because I know that, when I used to travel by road, I've seen a lot of these tankers loaded, parking at stations, with no question, somebody come in with a cigarette or something. So it's a very inflammable item, especially PMS. So we will try and do quite a lot of enlightenment so that people will be careful.
Jigawa State Governor Umar Namadi expressed gratitude for the overwhelming support, assuring donors that the funds will be used transparently and responsibly to provide relief to those in need.
And whatever happens to you, you have to take it in good faith. So, as people who have taken this in good faith, I will pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will hold the soul of those that departed.
More dignitaries are expected to visit Jigawa in the coming days, further demonstrating the unity and care that continues to bind the nation together during times of tragedy.
In the same vein, more Nigerians have continued to show solidarity and support to victims of the tragic petrol tanker explosion in Majia town of Tora local government area of Jigawa State. The latest are the Emir of Kano, Alhaji Muhammadu Sanusi II, and the Emir of Dutse, who both visited Governor Umar Namadi as part of an ongoing series of sympathy visits to the state. The visit underscores the bond between the traditional leaders and the state government in moments of crisis. Governor Namadi expressed gratitude for their visit, highlighting the importance of unity and collective support during trying times. He emphasized that such visits reinforce the ties between the state's leadership and traditional institutions, which play a pivotal role in maintaining peace and stability. The Emir of Kano, in his remarks, extended his heartfelt condolences to the government and the people of the state over the recent challenges they have faced and urged them to remain resilient, assuring that the traditional leadership stands with the governor in addressing the concerns of the people.
It is not easy to lose about 200 lives at a time. So in the face of this kind of tragic incident, we can only pray that Allah grants them Jannatul Firdaus. On behalf of the good people and the government of Jigawa State, we are grateful for this visit. We thank you very much, Your Royal Highness.
Away from that, operators of small and medium-scale enterprises in Nigeria, say they are failing due to a variety of problems. According to them, the harsh economic environment brought about as a result of the present economic reforms have given birth to other challenges affecting business activities throughout the country. Trustee Vice Adamu Imam spoke to some small business owners and an economist in Bauchi State on the challenges facing SMEs, as well as what could be done to address the situation. The report.
Lack of enough startup capital, unfair competition from larger companies, and multiple taxation have been identified as some of the major setbacks that stunned the progress of SMEs in Nigeria. Some operators within the Bauchi State capital lamented that the present economic reforms have dealt a negative blow on small businesses, with most of them shutting operations.
If you calculate what you are spending every month, it's more than 160,000 naira. And this is somebody that is not working. But people continue to at least give him something to feed his family, and the little one he also can get. So the policy of government concerning the tax is really killing. How do you expect somebody that just opened a shop, no more than a week, the local government is coming to tell you to pay tax?
Federal is collecting tax, state, local government, and individuals. You find a particular group of people who will block the road and collect taxes, and nobody cares about it. The problem is a problem with the economy. There is no law that is being obeyed in Nigeria.
An economic expert, Paul Daniel, shared his thoughts on the issues of credit facilities set aside by the federal government for small businesses.
The businesses, you realize that the effective of those credit schemes are not much effective. The reason is that, one, the accessibility of those credit schemes. Now, they find it very difficult to have access to those credit schemes, despite the fact that the government make a lot of publication that this is where you access it.
However, other stakeholders argue that government needs to play a larger role by creating an enabling environment for SMEs to thrive. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
You're watching the News Hour tonight on Trust TV. Coming up shortly. Orientation Agency advocates national culture for Nigeria's unity and development. We'll bring you details of this story and more after the break. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. Let's have another look at some of our top stories. Senator Hanga vows to push for narcotics bill as NDLEA refutes lawmakers' accusations of complicity amid debate on its operations. Bandits kill 3 travelers, abduct 2 farmers in Niger State. Moving on to other stories, an Upper Sharia court sitting in Kafar Kudu, Kano State, and presided over by Justice Abdullahi Sadukiyola in the matter of allegations against the Commissioner for Special Duties in Jigawa State, Awal Sankara, has scheduled hearing for Tuesday, October 22nd. During Monday's appearance, the prosecution counsel, Haruna Magashi, stated that his client, Nasser Buba, suspects the defendant, Awal Sankara, of committing an offense and is seeking an investigation into the matter. Meanwhile, the defendant's counsel, Shehu Saddam, emphasized that the case, which involves a direct criminal complaint against his client and the complainant's wife, Taslim Baba, was not initiated by the Kano State Hizbah.
The complainant, Alhaji Nasir Buba, laid a complaint to this honorable court that he is suspecting the suspect of committing an offense. Therefore, he wants this court to refer the matter for investigation.
The matter will be coming up tomorrow, and it is a direct criminal complaint. It is very good for the public to understand that this is not a matter instituted by the Kano State Hizbah Board. As far as we know, and as far as the record of court can show, this is a matter instituted by the complainant. It is a direct criminal complaint against our client and the wife of the complainant, Taslim Baba Nebigu.
Justice Mahmoud Abdul Ghaffar of the Kwara State High Court has fixed December 3rd for the commencement of the trial of the former governor of Kwara State, Abdul Fattah Ahmed, over alleged diversion of public fund to the tune of 3 billion naira. The former governor, who was rearranged from the Federal High Court, is being charged for diversion of Universal Basic Education Fund for other purposes. During the rearrangement on Monday at the State High Court in Ilorin, the former governor and his former commissioner for finance, Demola Banu, pleaded not guilty to the charges and were granted bail in the sum of 100 million naira each. The prosecuting counsel said the rearrangement from the Federal High Court to State High Court was as a result of conclusion of investigation of other aspects of the allegations and to avoid moving from one court to another.
The case came up today for the first time, and our charge was accepted by the judge, and we applied that the charge be read over to the defendants, which the court granted and read it over to them, and the case is adjourned to 3rd and 5th of December for trial. That's all. And the court also admitted them to bail because they were enjoying both administrative bail and the bail in the other court. They pleaded not guilty. We investigated other aspects of the allegation made against them. So the investigation was completed, and it is just prudent to have them in one court as again moving from one court to the other. So that's what we have done. And the charge is just merely on the vehement of funds meant for universal basic education.
Anti-security developments in the South-South region of the country. The 6th Division of the Nigerian Army, Port Harcourt, says troops of the division have destroyed about 32 oil bunkering sites and recovered about 250,000 litres of stolen petroleum products. In a statement issued in Port Harcourt on Monday by the Assistant Director of Public Relations of the division, Lieutenant Colonel Danjuma Jonah, said the Nigerian Army said it arrested several suspects, destroyed 54 locally constructed boats used for criminality, as well as intercepted a few vehicles used for conveying stolen products. In Rivers State, the Army said several operations were conducted with huge successes recorded. Among them was the one at Omoko in Ogba Egbema Undoni local government area along River Ekbe Ngbedei, where troops deactivated 2 illegal refining sites, 3 light tanks filled with over 45,000 litres of stolen crude, 6 drums filled with over 1,200 litres of soda automotive gas oil, and 2 mini tanks with over 3,000 litres of stolen products. In Bayelsa State, he said troops conducted several strangulation operations, including at Elukama 1 and Amalagarkiri general areas in Nembe local government area, where 2 illegal refining sites were deactivated with over 5,000 of stolen products recovered. The Army said in Delta State, a tipper truck was intercepted with over 30 drums of stolen condensates, and 2 occupants of the vehicle were arrested while in Warri South local government area. 2 active illegal refining sites were taken out with several holding facilities destroyed. And away from that, sugarcane farmers along the Buruku axis of the River Benue say they are making a decent living from trading in the crop and are therefore urging more Nigerians to take to sugarcane farming to enable them survive the prevailing hardship. A visit to the riverside reveals that the area is a beehive of activities throughout the year, as farmers, middlemen and hawkers trade in sugarcane for a living. Jimmy Azande tells us more.
In Buruku, the small-scale sugarcane business owners are having good success through mass patronage. This is a major source of employment here. With the plans to construct a bridge across the river, most of the canoe operators, our youth, can fall back to sugarcane farming. The government must come in to make it a bigger venture. While the business also has its challenges, including the cost of farming and preservation, consumers say sugarcane satisfies their hunger and is also good for the health. Sugarcane is quite good, especially for some of us ulcer patients. With the cost of food now, sugarcane can help satisfy hunger. It has no health challenges. We need a company here to process the sugarcane into finished products. A major problem in farming sugarcane is a high cost of fertilizer and insecticides. With this cost, we don't get a yield to supply the demands. This is a source of employment that the government should encourage. Sugarcane farming is common in the northern part of Nigeria and has a viable chain ranging from the farmers, middlemen, hawkers, manufacturers, and the final consumers. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
The National Orientation Agency says there is need to foster a national culture that reflects the common destiny of Nigerians through the National Value Charter. This is even as Nigerians on the streets of Abuja have been speaking on the new national anthem after it was reintroduced. Director General of the NOA, Lanre Isa Onilu, stated this while speaking to Trust TV's Neil Sampson, and he said the National Values Charter, among other things, will help Nigerians embrace the virtues of patriotism and nation building.
The National Values Charter is categorized into two: the Nigerian Promise, which is a promise made by the Nigerian state through its elected representatives, and the Citizens Code, which represents the obligations of the citizenry to nation building. While the leaders-led both work to ensure the advancement of the nations, the led have reasons to question some of the policies of the leaders, like the new national anthem and its impact on the lives of the citizens at a time of economic hardship.
Yes, they're supposed to take it. It's a very good national item. When I was in primary school, that's what we were singing. Even in secondary school, before Obasanjo's regime came as a military head of state and changed it. You understand me? But when you look at the stanzas of the new national item, okay, all complete Nigeria, you see, say where everybody will be treated equally, where everything, no person will be oppressed.
I don't think so. They don't take it seriously at all. I take it serious because it's already in the law.
Seriously, with the present situation, I don't think Nigerians are taking the national anthem seriously. Now, the reason why Nigeria are not taking the national anthem seriously is because of the hardship and things are happening. So if they know their work, let them do it. And I think it will be better for Nigerians.
Although many have questioned the timing of the new national anthem, as well as its relevance at the moment, the Director General of the National Orientation Agency speaks on the importance of the anthem and what the agency is doing to ensure that every Nigerian knows about it.
Because this national anthem actually makes more meaning. You know, it's something that actually speaks to who we are. And it's something that we need to work with. It's part of the national identity project. And that's why the campaign that is ongoing in all the 774 local governments, the 36 states and FCT, are tailored on the national identity project, which includes promoting the National Values Charter and also the national symbols, of which the national anthem is a key element.
He also spoke on the importance of the National Value Charter.
A value orientation successfully, if you have not defined what the values are, and for every society, they must have a definitive value system. So for Nigeria, it is there in the chapter 2 of our constitution. And there have been past efforts also at bringing together some value system. But we have not actually, done that definitive, value system for the country. For us to have a shared national identity, for us to be able to identify who a Nigerian is.
The National Value Charter aims to define and document the core values that will guide all Nigerians, regardless of their ethnic, religious, social, and economic backgrounds. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
It's time now to join Yusuf Akogu for the business news.
Time for some business stories. Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reform say the ongoing tax reform process being embarked upon by the federal government will prioritize local manufacturers, small and medium-scale enterprises, and the most vulnerable in the society. Chairman of the committee, Taiwo Udele, stated this at the Fiscal and Monetary Reform session of the just concluded 30th Nigerian Economic Summit in Abuja. Speaking on the new Gazette withholding tax, Udele said the policy will enable manufacturers and small business operators to grow the economy, thereby increasing tax revenues for the government. He noted that the benefits include 2024 grant rate reduction and full exemption from withholding tax to small businesses with annual return not exceeding 25 million naira, among others. The Minister of Art, Culture and Creative Economy, Hannatu Musawa, has revealed that Nigeria incurs an annual revenue loss of $3 billion to importing Ankara fabrics. Musawa made this disclosure during the Creative Africa Nexus Weekend 2024 in Algiers, Algeria. She emphasized the importance of strengthening Africa's fashion and textile industry, noting that global fashion industry is valued at approximately $2.5 trillion. Musawa stressed that investment in fashion will create millions of jobs, particularly for women and youth. In Nigeria alone, the fashion industry contributes around $6.1 billion to the GDP. This popular wax print fabric is widely consumed in West and Central Africa, but surprisingly, nearly 90% of it is manufactured outside of the continent. NGS all-share index leaped 0.87 on Monday, driven by momentum in the banking and some medium-cap equities. Let's see how it went down today. Ikeja Hotels lead the top gainers. They gained 10% to close at 7 naira and 70 kobo per share. The Dacom also gained 10% to close at 66 kobo per share. The close of business this Monday. Champion PLC recorded 9.65% gain to close at 3 naira and 75 kobo per share. Of course, this has pushed up the index up by 0.87%. Volume of trade 405.02 million shares there. Value at 27.57 billion naira in a list of 8,281 did exchanges among investors. Of course, the all-share index there added about 3.1 trillion naira owing to the new listing by Aradel last week on the floor. Of course, looking at the top trading equities by volume, UBA Nigerian PLC leading the table 138.15 million shares. Sterling Bank 39.56 million shares. Of course, Access Corporation 29.95 million volume of shares. It also traded. The banking sector affair we'll see. Of course, some equities recorded losses leading the table. NSL down 6.45% to close at 58 kobo per share. Of course, CI listing also down as well, 5.01% to close at 3 naira and 60 kobo per share. Regalins also ended on the negative side of the market, 4.92% to close at 58 kobo per share there. And that's the highlight of stock trading as it went down this Monday on the floor of NGS. Let's see the global stock market and exchange rate data for today. According to the head of the International Energy Agency, weaker than expected oil consumption in China and rising electric vehicle sales will continue to weigh on the world's oil demand growth going forward. And the London market, Brent crude sells for $74 per barrel. For the per basket, dealers offer $73 per barrel. And that's business. I am Yusuf Akogu.
Thank you so much, Yusuf Akogu, for the business news. And now to developments away from Nigeria. Israeli forces besieged hospitals and shelters for displaced people in the northern Gaza Strip on Monday as they stepped up their operations against Palestinian militants. Residents and medics said troops rounded up men and ordered women to leave the Jabalia historic refugee camp, adding that Israeli airstrike on a house in Jabalia killed 5 people and wounded several others. United Nations Palestinian Refugee Agency said Israeli authorities were preventing humanitarian missions from reaching areas in the north of the Palestinian enclave, with critical supplies, including medicine and food. Medics at the Indonesian hospital told Reuters that Israeli troops stormed the school and detained the men before setting it ablaze, adding that the fire wrecked hospital generators and caused a power outage. Health officials say they had refused orders by the Israeli army, which started a new incursion into the territory's north over 2 weeks ago to evacuate the 3 hospitals in the area or leave the patients unattended. Palestinian health officials say at least 18 people have been killed in Jabalia and 8 elsewhere in Gaza in Israeli strikes. The Israeli military said in a statement it was operating against terrorist infrastructure in the Jabalia area. And in sports, Guinness World Record holder and founder of Chess in Slums Africa, Tunde Onakoya, has called chess a powerful tool for self-discovery and empowerment. Over the weekend, he visited an IDP camp in Yola, Adamawa State, to inspire children displaced by Boko Haram. Gibson Swadigo reports.
Guinness World Record holder and founder of Chess in Slums Africa, Tunde Onakoya, is not in the New York today, but at the Malkoy IDP camp in Yola, Adamawa State.
How many of you know America?
He is there for a chess tournament and back-to-school campaign organized by Vivian Ibrahim, convener of the Chess in IDP Camps initiative. 30 children participated, impressing Onakoya with their chess skills despite the trauma they have endured. He stressed the importance of using sports to empower Nigerian youth and keep them away from social vices.
A lot of them have started representing our communities in tournaments. I think some of them even traveled to Delta State recently. And a lot of them have been enrolled back in school. They're now, rediscovering the love for education, for learning. And that is the greatest gift you can ever give anyone. We have to rethink charity beyond just giving handouts or giving food. When you truly empower people's mindset and it changes, you give them back their agency. So I'm here to support that mission because I believe that every child is a genius.
Vivian Ibrahim, convener of the Chess in IDP Camps initiative, which has impacted over 300 children, explained that our collaboration with Tunde Onakoya aligns with the vision of Chess in Slums Africa. Our initiative has already sponsored 20 children back to school with plans to enroll more.
What we do in the Chess in IDP Camp program is in line with what Tunde Onakoya, the convener of Chess in Slums Africa, does. We're trying to change the narrative that those kids, underprivileged kids, they are also intelligent and then they are well disciplined. So we are trying to help them to get more opportunities in life and to also showcase their talents and then their intelligence to the world.
Tunde, who grew up in a slum much like this IDP camp, found his turning point through the chessboard. Gibson Soadugo, Trust TV News, Yola.
Let's join Emmanuel Fashemi for some more sports news.
Super Eagles and Sevilla of Spain winger Chidera Ejuke is set for a spell on the sidelines due to injury. Ejuke got injured in Sevilla's 5-1 demolition to Barcelona on Sunday. The winger was substituted late in the first half by Albert Sambi Locogna. Sevilla coach Gracia Pimenta confirmed after the game that the Nigerian international sustained a hamstring injury. The 26-year-old has scored once in 9 league outings for Rojiblancos this season. Sevilla are currently 13th on the La Liga table after 10 rounds of matches in the 2024-2025 season. Incumbent president of the Confederation of African Football, CAF, Patrice Motsepe, is set to retain his position as the head of the body. The CEO of the Mamelodi Sundown in 2021 emerged as the president of the body after he succeeded Ahmad Ahmad. Ahead of the March 2025 election, each regional body over the weekend through Monday had their meetings and they all endorsed Motsepe to run for a second term. Only UNAF, which consists of North African countries,
authorities decided against his return. Other regions like Sekafa, Wafu A and B, Kosafa, and Unifac all backed the South African business Mongol. And that is what I am Emmanuel Fashimi.
Very well, then that's about the size of our package for you on the News Hour tonight on Trust TV. Remember, you can always follow us across all of our social media platforms and also join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs and documentary. I am Aisha Salihu. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.